Hi everyone, I am Christine Josty of Mail Something Pretty, and I'm going to show you these fun little cards. It's a little bouquet on top of a card, so it's a 3D, it will smush into an envelope, but it does have some texture to it. So I'm going to show you how to make this paper bouquet, a special treatment to these flowers, to these peonies, and then a little bit of embossing on here. And so I just think it's a sweet card that you can use for so many reasons. So let's get started. I'm going to use the Gallery Blooms stamp set and dies. And this is new, depending on when you're watching the video. It's a new sweet part of the annual catalog. I should have actually had this out the ready. Oop. Hold on a second. So sorry, I should have had this ready. There it is. It's like this part of this mega suite. So it's part of the Beautiful Gallery Suite Collection, and it is this stamp set and dies, and I will show you because it's kind of cool. So these are the dies I'm going to use today for the peonies and then some of the leaves, but you also get, and this is what I want to show you, you get some, regular flower cutouts, but you get this framed piece. So we're not even using this piece in this card, but it cuts out 3 pieces at once. So you get this larger frame that has a little mitering, a little score line that comes in it. You get this medium rectangle, and then you also get this cutout for a solid rectangle. So you get 3 out of 1. So I just wanted to point that out. I have made other projects with it, and I will certainly make some more, but not with that die today. Okay. So let's see, we are going to start with, let's choose a paper. So this is the beautiful, I think it's called Beautiful Bouquet paper. I can tell you. Yep, Beautiful Bouquet paper. This was in the spring catalog, but then they brought it over into the annual catalog. And so I think I have actually one of every color. So I will just do, how about we do, I've been partial to this color, but we'll do a lighter purple today. Alright, so let me move these aside, and you can use any paper, but it's kind of a nice background. It has a little bit of a coloration, it's not solid, and then we're going to add that little embossed section. So we're just going to cut this paper at a standard first layer. So I'll actually start on my card base. I've already cut it, is basic beige, and it is 5.5 by 8.5. Scored in half, and you get a standard card. So our first layer we're going to cut at 4 inches. This you can use for something else, but when we cut this at 5.25, we're going to get this little tab, and so we're going to use this also. So we're going to use those 2 pieces, and all I did with that tab is I just put it in the inside, but it just gives a little something rather than have it blank. And the other piece, since I have the cutter out, is we're going to cut, we need to cut a piece of paper for our little paper bouquet. So I have crumb cake, and we're going to cut 4 inches by 4 inches. You can use even a pattern paper would actually fold really nicely. It would be a little easier to fold. I actually, when I saw a similar-ish card, it wasn't a Stampin' Up! Card, it was just an idea, and they used, it almost looked like a pattern paper of newsprint, and I know Stampin' Up! Used to have some a long time ago, and I think that would be beautiful, just like a vanilla with a black print or something, but we don't have that right now, so I kind of improvised with our crumb cake. All right, so that's really all we need cut, and then I just have white to stamp. So how about we'll kind of work our way upwards. So we'll start with our layer, and we're going to use, this is a new embossing folder set. You get 2, and it's called Glass and Gardens embossing folders. This is actually part of the celebratory SIPs suite, which is in like the online exclusive, so it's not in the catalog, but it's available online, and you get these 2 folders, and I love them both, but we're going to use actually this one right now. all we're going to do, and it is a standard folder, it's not a 3D. And I like, hopefully you can see it, the pattern kind of fizzles out towards the side, so I like that. So we're just going to line up our paper here along this bottom line. So make sure we get it straight. I'm just going to run that through. So because this is like a regular standard embossing folder, for the sandwich of the folder, we do not need that piece right now. So we just need a clear, oops, I moved it, our embossing folder, and another clear. And we get this really nice texture on top of already a slightly textured paper. So I really like that look. And you could certainly do this card without the texture. You can just have it plain, or again with pattern paper. All right, so we'll just add this right on top of our, I just love using basic beige as a neutral. I do love using white also, but I think the beige, it's just gives a little something, and it matches every color. Okay, so that would even be fun with just a little something, and that could be a card. And then we'll just put our little strip in here. Okay, so then we'll just write our little message above. So that base is now done. So how about we'll stamp. Close up my glue. So I'm using this big peony set, stamp. It's pretty large, and I'm using Memento black ink because we are going to use blends markers to color our peony, which at the time of this filming, my peonies are buds. They're going to be maybe a week or so. They'll be blooming, so I'm very excited. That's why I like this stamp set. I love this stamp. Getting messy here. So we're just going to stamp right on our white, like that. So what I've been doing is I've been cutting instead of coloring, then cutting, because sometimes if things move in your machine and you spent all that time coloring and then you cut it and it doesn't come out right, you get frustrated. And that's from experience. All right, so we're gonna cut this. So I put this piece back, put our clear piece back, and line up our die. And it is pretty easy to line up. Kind of see all the outline elements. Let's see, I'm doing it without putting my head directly over it. Sometimes that's a little difficult. Oop. All right, does that look good? I think so. Okay. And some people ask, like, some people put washi tape down or something down. I actually don't usually. I carefully put this down, and then I kind of hold it with my thumb so it doesn't move until my thumb hits. And generally, that works. Let's see how I did. Oh, okay. Good enough, because actually the stem we're not even going to see. Normally I would want that shifted over, but we're not going to see that. So I think that's fine. I think we're done with that. All right, so now we can color. Put that on there so you can see. These little things pop out. And I'm actually noticing if you have a little extra white on the side, you can always trim it with scissors. it really wasn't that bad, but I just want to show you that you can kind of trim it. There we go. All right, so of course I have all of these colors here, so I have to decide which color I want to do my peonies, because peonies come in all different colors. So I tried to do them all slightly different so you could see the color variations. So let's see, let's start with our green, our leaves, and then we'll go forward. So I have Granny Apple Green here. I have both the light and the dark. So starting with the light. And this leaf is a little bit off, but we'll see how it goes. There's a little piece that pokes out here. So there are like these pieces that come down from the peony. So actually I did one as a leaf. Technically they're part of the flower, so when the flower opens up, but you can do them, I'm just going to do them as leaves now since I did one as a leaf. You can do them as leaves, or you can do them as part of the flower. So that was the light. I'll just add a little, I need a new, look at that tip, that's awful. I'll use this tip. A little dark in there, just for a little texture. Okay, so those are the leaves, nothing too crazy. And then the middle of peonies are yellow. A lot of them are yellow. So we'll start there. And now I have to decide which color I want to do. And let's see, it's going to be on this paper. And I did this one. I'll just do a different color than that one. Maybe I'll do the coral. This is Calypso Coral. I had them put together, the light and the dark, for club, so we knew which colors went with which colors. All right, so again, I'm starting with the light. Some people start with the dark, some people start with the light. I do both depending, I guess, on my mood or whatever the image is. And I'm actually just kind of scribbling, and by doing that, sometimes I'll have a little bit of white, like I didn't get it, and I'm okay with that because I feel like it's a little bit like sunshine hitting the light. I know they have the color lifter to do that too, but sometimes I just leave a little white to let that do it on its own. So this is the darker Calypso Coral, just kind of highlighting kind of where the lines are, or sometimes where the leaves or the petals intersect where it would be darker. So it looks like that. So again, that was kind of a scribbling. If you wanted to get extra fancy, you can introduce a third color. So this is Pretty in Pink, and this will actually warm it up a little bit. So you can kind of play with your colors. And I'm not putting it everywhere, just a few places. So as that dries, it will kind of blend a little bit more together. It's still a little wet. I can get lost in coloring, and so sometimes I have to hold back and stop. All right, so we're going to set that aside for a second. So we have our base, we have our flower, and now we need to do our bouquet. I have three different, hopefully you can see, three different textures. So this one is just plain cardstock. This one you'll see is kind of crumpled up. And then this one actually has a texture from an embossing folder. So they're all kind of start with the same way. I'm going to, I think I'll just crumple mine up. Actually, I'll show you both. So I'm going to hold it on the diagonal, and this again, this is 4x4, and so I want to, so this paper's stiff. A pattern paper would be softer and a little easier, so you can kind of see how it's a little stiff. So I'm eyeballing, kind of trying to keep that point as a point. And I'm going to fold that over. I'm going to fold this over. Oh, I actually did pretty good. I'm trying to keep it even as possible to that peak. So if this was over like that, that's not even. Or if it was over too much, that's not even. So I'm trying to keep it even so you have that little kind of a cone shape for a bouquet. Now if you wanted that crumpled up look, it actually helps folding. It breaks down a lot of the fibers of the paper, which makes it easier. It's okay, I ripped it a little bit, but that's all right. You'll see it's breaking down the fibers. And now, when I smooth it out, when I go to fold, it's a little bit easier to fold this way and this way. And actually, someone in club folded it this way and this way. I'm actually going to do it. Oh, of course, I have that rip there. So you can kind of see, it doesn't really matter which side you fold it on. I might just go this way because I had the rip, so I have to hide the rip. But it doesn't matter. And if you wanted to use the embossing, I would fold it first, and then you would put it in maybe not this one, but a different embossing folder, and you would run it through your machine like that. And then even if you wrinkled it and you did it, it will flatten it out a little bit, but it gives you this texture. So 3 options. All right, so now what we're going to do, we need to add our linen thread, right? Because we have to tie it all together. So what I did is I took tear and tape, and I did kind of 2 lines. This helps, one, for holding down the ribbon or the thread, but it also will help stick to the card. I'll probably add more glue, but it helps. All right, so I took those off. I'm going to start with maybe a tail about, what's that, 5 inches or so here. And I'm going to wrap it around twice. And then you can, if you just pat it down, the linen thread will stick to the back, so that way it's not moving. And I'm going to just tie a bow. Oops. And then you can fiddle with it depending on how big or small you want it to be. Okay, so like that. So now we can put this on our card. I'm going to put it on a diagonal like that. So I am going to add some more glue, but it does have the tear and tape on there as well. Okay. I'll put a different color just so you can kind of see. So what we're going to do with our flower, because you'll see it looks a little different, we're going to cut our flower. So I'm going to cut in between this leaf and this flower, right in that white space right there. And then I'm going to cut close to the flower, close to this line of the flower, because you wouldn't see like green on top of the flower. Like that. So now you have 2. So this one, because I actually didn't cut it so great, I'm going to trim a little of this white off. Like that. And then I'm just going to leave that leaf there. Okay. So before we put those 2 pieces in, I already cut 3 pieces of greenery. And these dies I showed you before come in the set. So I've already cut them out of Granny Apple Green. And I'm going to place these first. And it will look funny, but then it will all tie together. So I'm going to put this up here. I want to make sure that it doesn't extend beyond the card so it fits in the envelope. And you can place yours however you want. But this one gets tucked in here, and it does get tucked in because again I need it to be within the confines of the card. And I could have cut it too to add more, but in this one you have a choice. You can have it so it hooks, so there's a leaf here, or if it gets tucked in and goes that way. See, so you can play with it. So it looks a little funny, but all of these leaves are within the base of the card. So now we're going to take this one that has the 2 flowers and just kind of tuck it in like that. And then for this one, I just took a dimensional and I'm going to pop it in. So again, we're not even going to see that stem. Pop it in as deep or as shallow, or if you want to angle it, however you really want it to go. I think I'll just have mine go like that. And then I think this, we're going to add the label, but this part makes a huge difference. So you can kind of see that that's a flat, a right angle. And this one I have this little lip, and I think it helps. So this is just a, this is actually from one of those honey lollipop things that I washed. But you can use anything that's round. And I'm just going to roll this around a little bit, and I just think this makes it. And then if you put it in an envelope and it flattens, you still have that little lip, so it's okay. Just roll it there. And then for our little tag here, this is the smallest die from the perennial postage. You can use whatever, but that's where I got this from. And the For You is, now I forget what set it's from. But lots of sets have For You in it. Or you can write anything, hello or thank you, or whatever. And I'm just going to put just a little dab of glue on the corner. I'm going to tuck this under the knot there, and I'm going to try to make sure that it's, since this is on the angle, I want my words to be straight. There we go. Close this, put my hand in it. So there you go. So there is a cute little bouquet card that can be for really any reason. And I used, I think, all but one color of this pack of paper, and the extra color looked nice, but people used it at clubs, so I didn't have it. It was kind of a two-tone color. But there you go. So there are the bouquet of flowers from, here it is, the Gallery Blooms stamp set. I love it. So I hope you liked it too. Let me know in the comments. If you are not receiving my emails, I send an email out every Tuesday morning. And so you can sign up in the description of this video. It will have a link, so click on that, as well as you can click on the bell to be notified whenever I upload new videos. So thanks very much for joining me, and I hope you like your paper bouquet. Have a great day. Bye-bye.